Okay, I want to talk a little bit about cleanup. We've got our gun full of latex paint here, and first thing I want to do is I want to open the can where the paint came from, and I want to empty the cup from the gun back into that can. So you want to be careful here because there's paint in the pickup tube, so you always want to pull that trigger. And you see how it releases the paint? Once you drain most of that out of there, I'm going to pour it back into the can. Drain as much out of the gun as you possibly can. Now I've got a bucket of clean water here. I'm just going to take the whole gun head like this. I'm going to drop it right in there. I'm going to let that soak for a minute while I put this away. Now this is a very easy process to go through. Should only take you about 10 minutes to do a cursory cleaning of the latex paint. It's really quite easy. Now Erlex does provide a cleaning kit. It's got some brushes and then grease in there for keeping your gun in tip-top shape. So I'm going to open that up because we're going to use a couple of tools out of here today. Okay. Now a lot of times with latex, what I do is I actually run this gun under the hose or in a faucet. If you've got water moving, it actually just takes everything right out of the gun. It's very simple. If you're doing that, you just put the hose or faucet up to any hole that you can find in the gun. Water will flow through the gun and it will take paint with it. In this case, we're going to work on a bucket, and I've got a rag in here, and I'm just going to use that rag to wipe off the excess paint. You want to make sure you wipe off the needle and nozzle and the air cap. The little holes in the air cap are an important part to keep clean. Alright, so there I've got most of the paint off the gun. Got to keep in mind though, there's still paint inside this tube and inside the gun head. We're going to get to that in a second. But for right now, I'm just going to dry this off a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and put the cup in the bucket of water. And if you just dunk it in and soak it and move it around, it eventually grabs most of that paint and pulls it right out. But again, a nice easy way to get to that paint is with a rag. So I just drop that rag back down into that cup. Wipe it out. This Teflon coating is great in this situation because it really just helps everything come right off. I can't really get my hand in there, but I can get this rag down in here and my fingers in far enough to force it around. You just kind of move the paint around, and most of it will come right off on the rag, and then dunk it again. Now, if this were warm water, it would be even easier. And actually, putting a little bit of soap in this water makes it quicker. In this case, we're just using plain water, and it's still going quite well. We're just about done here with this. I'm going to use my rag to dry the cup off a little bit. You want to dry off the inside of the cup too, get any residue out. It's important that when you store the system that you don't store it with moisture in it. The moisture can attack the Teflon coating. You want to make sure it stays nice and intact inside there. So at this point, I want to fill the cup with fresh, clean water. I'm going to put the gun back on, and I'm going to spray it through. That's going to take all of the paint out of the inside of the gun. All right, just going to pour some fresh, clean water into the cup. We've already got 99% of the paint out of the system. Put the gun back on the cup. And at this point, this is a good time to swish it, swirl it, shake it around, get that paint moved around. Make sure you get it all loosened up in there. At this point, all I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it to my spray station, and I'm going to spray that clean water through the gun. I'm just going to go ahead and spray right into my bucket here. And at first you can see that it's kind of a milky spray, but as you go along and get all that paint out, the spray clears up and becomes perfectly water clear. I want to change my spray pattern when I'm doing that. It helps direct the paint or the water into different areas. Just change it again. I'm going to change my flow control in order to allow it to pull more water. Just anything you can do to mix it up and get that loose paint out of there. All right. So, now that we've sprayed that water through there, what we want to do is empty out whatever's left. And then we use a dry rag to clean it up. There you go. At this point, you can load this with different paint or materials and start spraying again.